Hey Peyton, nice to see you again on this beautiful day in the woods. This time with a quote by our beloved explorer Ernest Shackleton. He quotes, I quote, I choose life over death for myself and my friends. I believe it is in our nature to explore, to reach out into the unknown. The only true failure would be not to explore at all. What is your thoughts and your ideas on this one, Peyton?
Wonderful quote, and a topic that is very dear to my heart for sure. In my view, the evidence for exploration and adventure being in our nature as humans can be found in the fact that we're all over the world. We definitely didn't start all over the world. We started off in this little part of Africa, and by the time we invented farming, before we invented farming, we were all over Africa, Europe, Asia, and even the Americas, all the way down to South America. And so you know that we descend from adventurers, we descend from explorers, we descend from people who did not die at the place where they were born. And you can feel inside of you, in my opinion, that we too are called to adventure. And in our life, there's a lot of stuff that we can get into, of course, lots of stuff that's valuable, but one that has an intrinsic value, in my view, and maybe not necessarily a means to an end, but a tremendous end in itself that's an opportunity for us to engage in, to enrich our lives, and to really help us live fuller lives is that of adventure. And adventure to me is not just the geography that we're in. We all know that we can go to Mexico and go to an all inclusive resort and chill on a beach and have alcohol served to us and free food. And I would not call that adventure, but we can also go to Mexico and wander around the streets and talk to strangers and go out in the volcanoes and check shit out and explore and interact with the world and engage with novelty and with stuff that's outside of our comfort zone, outside of stuff that we've encountered before. And that's adventure. And just like that, even in our own home state, we can have this mindset, this mentality, this approach to our days and our weeks with adventure, or even with to an hour with adventure. And adventure is, in my view, kind of putting on a mindset that I'm not trying to use this time as a means to an end of stacking stuff together or of status or of this or of that or of all the common things that we're commonly trying to achieve or earn or grasp a little bit of. It's more about giving ourselves to an experience and by doing so, receiving an experience and interacting with the world in a vibrant and novel way where we don't control the outcomes, we don't know how things are going to go, and we are open to the possibilities and open to getting out of our comfort zone of what's normal, of what we've experienced before, and tapping into this awesome, invigorating spirit of adventure that's within most or all of us to an extent. And it is one of the most incredible things that we can experience in this life. Even though when I go on this hike or I climb this mountain, there has been a man or a woman that has been on top of this peak before, probably. Or there has been some, like, this is not uncharted territory. There's probably a map that includes this, and certainly a satellite image that includes this. But we can have this first person experience um, as the embodied creature that we are of going out, experience this, taking in with our senses what is here for me right now, engaging with it, experiencing it, playing around with it, exploring, asking ourselves questions with curiosity about what's before us, whether it's out in nature or whether it's within cities, whether it's going and searching for something, whether it's opening ourselves to an adventure, however we define it. This is one of the most awesome gifts and one of the most awesome opportunities that we have to put our energy toward and our life toward when we're able to. And so, something that I am immensely blessed by whenever I get the opportunity to. And I'm continually reminded to bring this mindset of turning these experiences that could feel every day into an adventure, not just interacting with my labels and concepts and the map of where I interact with, but truly bringing life and awareness and sensory awareness and vibrancy and curiosity to wherever I happen to find myself. That's a lot of how I think about adventure. What about you, man?
What a great thought and what a great train of thoughts, Peyton. The curiosity part is what I resonate so much with, because if you're open to the optionalities which you find when you go out and feel this way of life like you described it, you are in a way of life, you are curious, you're looking around, you're open to new opportunities and possibilities. You leave your old concepts at home, for example. Even in your hometown, if you approach it like a traveler, you leave your concepts at home and discover what there is to discover new. And so this is a big part of going out and explore. So we are a deeply curious species. We are all over around the world, like you said. And for me, when I went out to travel a little bit, the more open I have been, the more beauty turned out to stream into my life, the more options opened up in front of myself, and the more beautiful people I met, and the more connections I made. And these connections still influence my life today. And therefore, I love the idea of the only failure would be not to go and explore, because you stay obviously in your old structures. It's like a tree which has a roof and cannot grow out of the roof. But if you open up the old ways and go out, uh, even only with a new mind, even only through the lens of a traveler in your own hometown, you open up so much beautiful opportunities to connect with yourself, connect with people around you. So I went out and went to Amsterdam. There I met you. Obviously, what a gift. Then I went to Thailand and went to a 10-day meditation retreat. And then I met some Swiss girl. And then I met some British guy. What a gift. Then my travels went to China, to the British guy, and then to Switzerland. Then that's how I learned uh, how beautiful Switzerland is. And so my whole life changed just because I was open. And this is also I can correlate that. The more open I have been, the less structured and the less firm my preconceived notions have been when I went into a place, even into a new group setting, or even in my hometown in a new place. The less structured and preconceived I had my notions, the more beautiful opportunities came along. And therefore, this way of being in the world is a creative one, because we are so curious. It is in our nature to explore. We want to strive for some ambition. We want to strive for growth. We want to discover new things. We want to make sense of the world, because so complex, our world around us is so complex, and we are creatures living in that world. Things happen all the time. But why do these things happen? Why does the lightning strike in this particular tree? So we go out and look for explanations. Some people come only so far and say, okay, it was the gods. Other people go further and, like Benjamin Franklin, uh, air their kite and then see what happens then. And they risk their lives. They have skin in the game. They want to find new answers. But when they discover something new, some new piece of knowledge, some new piece of resources, then everybody around them also gets richer, profiting from the newfound resources or the new explanatory knowledge. And therefore, we as a species, we benefit from everyone who is an inventor or everyone who is a discoverer. it discovers new lands or new ways of thinking about something. And in this creative approach on being curious in the world, we strive for options which can uncover so much, so much value, not only for us, but for the people we meet and for the people we love.
Wonderful. And I think that a big part of this whole adventure equation is it's the known versus the unknown. And so often culture and society and what's normal and the status quo and inertia guide us toward choosing, in my view, three kind of categories of things over adventure. And one would be safety, one would be comfort, and one would be efficiency. And adventure, by its very nature, is the opposite of all these three things. When you're going outside of your comfort zone, outside of places you know, outside of places where you have familiar um, zones of safety, of security, of understanding what's at play and what's going on, and what you would do if there was a situation you had to deal with, you inherently do trade off some safety to go on an adventure to an extent. You inherently do trade off some comfort to go on an adventure. And it's way more comfortable to sit on your couch and watch a character in a movie go on an adventure than to go on one yourself and experience it yourself, interact with it with all your senses, not just a little rectangle of your vision and your sound. You can actually feel and be immersed in an adventure, but it's not comfortable to. You're going to have to deal with actual rain outside as opposed to seeing it on a screen, actual cold, actual hunger when you go between meals, or thirst when you forget something to drink or run out of water on a hike, or whatever the case may be. It is inherently uncomfortable. It's inherently more dangerous, inherently less comfortable, and it's inefficient. You are not, when you're out on an adventure, building as efficiently as you can, saving up as much as you can, working as hard as you can to advance yourself a little more, or gain yourself a little more security, or get a little bigger house. There are trade-offs to this. And a reason why, in my view, it's very common to misallocate and underallocate our precious life, our years on this earth, toward the things that nourish and enrich us and fulfill us the most, like adventure, is because we have a known and an unknown. And so it's really hard for us to see what is the potentiality on this adventure because the true potential there is not revealed to us in specificity in advance, but the opportunity cost of or the risks of trading in security and comfort and efficiency are known to us. And so there's an imbalance here that makes it very tempting to go along with the status quo and to not carve out the time, intentionality, resources, and energy toward pursuing the life that, in my view, would be most satisfying, most fulfilling, most enriching, and most growth leading. And in the long run, in my opinion, adventure does cause us to be the type of people that can achieve all our worldly ends in a much better way. It can enable us to connect with people more and on a deeper level, to be open to novel experiences in a way that actually will make us much wealthier in the long run and much able to navigate dangerous situations to truly be safer in the long run. But safety not from a position of shelteredness and trying to live in a bubble, but safety in terms of walking out in the world with your shoulders back, understanding that you know how to carry yourself and navigate to potentially tumultuous and chaotic situations. That's a far more robust and anti-fragile form of safety as opposed to trying to cower within four walls and hope that danger never reaches us. And this trade-off of adventure, in my opinion, is not just a side quest to our life or not just a minor detail, an aesthetic difference between this life and that life if we've truly engaged in adventure and truly adopted a mindset of adventure on many of the days in our life. Ultimately, we have this experience. Life is, in a sense, a single player game. We have these tastes, sights, sounds, sensations, thoughts, all this stuff's going on. And when we go and play a video game, do we go and sit the main character in his living room and never leave there and go to work and go to back and commute and try to keep him really safe and never rock the boat and never have hard conversations and not explore, not see novelty? Of course we wouldn't. It makes no sense. And in our own life, we act like there's a completely different dynamic where all of a sudden, just because there's 80 years at stake and we have a name and a story and there's people around us and blah, 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 that we shouldn't be trying to maximize what fulfills us and what leads to our growth and what leads to excitement and what leads to a fully lived, fully fulfilling, fully engaging human life. And in my view, it's a huge tragedy, a huge missed opportunity, because what lies behind the door of adventure and exploration, and once again, it could be worldwide adventure, it could be adventure in your own city, it could be adventure within the structure even of a full-time working life, and you bring this attitude as you go and pick up your dinner, and you stop by a few shops and you interact with somebody and you experiment with this thing and you try this new thing out and you create these spontaneous moments of novelty. These are small moments of adventure in our life, but of course there are the big adventures. There's the 5-day treks in the mountains. There's the longer road trips than that. There's the things where we go way outside of our comfort zone to do something that we ourselves define as an end in itself and not just another means to an end, not just another stacking, trading time for money so that we can pay another payment on a slightly bigger house or whatever the case may be. We have an immense opportunity as human beings and as human beings living in 2023 to fully engage with the world, to fully put ourselves out there, to get way outside of our comfort zone, and to choose the epicness of open possibilities and fully giving ourselves to the moment, fully feeling the vigor of our body, of our muscles, of our spirit, and the energy within us to engage in awesome adventures. And it is an incredible gift, an incredible opportunity, and one that we should really, really not discard lightly, especially not for just a little bit of safety, a little bit of efficiency, and a little bit of comfort. Adventure has so much more to offer to us if we just reach out and go for it, in my opinion.
So true, man. As you said it, the opportunities are there. We are in a generation, we are in a place and time in history where we have such an easy opportunity to just go out. And that never has been so easy to go out. I remember my mom when she said that she 40 years ago worked in a small travel bureau of a local bank, and one guy booked a flight from Germany to Bangkok and back again, and he paid like 13,000 mark, German mark. What was like an enormous amount of money just for a flight. And then let's see the other explorers, like Ernest Shackleton. He needed funding. It was like some kind of a startup thing to go out and seek for venture capital, and you had to build a ship as the strongest Norwegian ship ever built to withstand the ice, which in the end did not work out that well. But you had to have such an enormous ambition to even try to gather all those resources, um, so that really the adventurers from the earlier days, they had a strong conviction. But we also can get a taste from that, but only much, much, much easier. And therefore, as well, start in your everyday life. Seek a little bit of novelty. Just go the route where you do not go that often, or which you've never taken. Even in your hometown, you will uncover new insights. It also is the benefit of giving novelty to your mind, which releases some kind of neurotransmitters which make your learning ability to learn a little bit better. And yeah, this is an open door to have all those spontaneous moments and generate those spontaneous moments through your mindset in your life every day, where you are right now. Um, and yes, therefore we can even within safety, like you said, within the comfort, within the efficiency, you can plant some little trees of adventure within our lives. But we also can try to plant a big tree and then go on a bigger adventure. And this is the thing about it. If you feel that you are not challenged enough, then it's definitely time for a small adventure or even a bigger one. So we as humans, we are organic living species who move, procreate, and so on. But the movement part is important, because if you don't move, if you do not move your body or your mind, then you will decay, because if you do not challenge yourself, you will decay like a plant experiencing a storm and surviving the storm will grow its roots and its structure deeper and stronger. We also need challenges to thrive and grow. We will not grow if we do not challenge ourselves. What we want is being in the sweet spot of the challenge matched to our skills, and from there on, enjoying the whole path, enjoying the way of life in that sweet spot between challenge and skills. So that is a fit. So if you never traveled, if you never went out of your hometown, so don't go to another place. Don't go to China or Africa, whatever. Go to the next big city and discover something there. But if you really want to challenge yourself, then make this cadence, make this break, make this cut, and just change your structure from a day which is well structured into another, into an unstructured, creative manner, and then see what comes out, see what flows, and try to be creative as possible, and then you will naturally find more meaning, more comfort in this discomfort. What has been discomfortable now will become comfortable. And like you said, Peyton, you will move in a much different way in the world. You will be much more self-conscious, much more reliable, because you know what you can do. You know how to find things. You know how to use your resources. So this is an opportunity for you to really grow as a person and as a skillful human being, being able to come up with everything in any circumstance. And therefore, let's explore and do not fail to not explore. What are your thoughts? And Peyton?
Wonderful thoughts, my man. Could not agree more. Made me walk with bright eyes and a curious mind and a courageous manner toward a life fully lived, toward a world fully engaged. And may we feel the fulfillment and the excitement that adventure can bring us all in all of our phases of life. Appreciate you, man. Thank you very much for your
Appreciate you.
thoughts. I will talk to you next
Beautiful.
week.
Thank you, Peyton. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.